Hey guys and welcome back to another What If here. Today we're doing part 3 to What If Naruto got a second chance but as a girl. If you want to know what happened in the last part, well, there should very much be a link in the description down below which will take you to a playlist where you can watch part 1 and part 2 and any future part depending on the demand of this What If. Or in other words, another way of putting it, if you guys want another part to this What If, then it will be done. But if you guys don't, then it won't be. So, yes. Anyway. And also, there will be, of course, at the end of the video, there will be end cards where you can click the playlist. Anyway. So, let's get into this. It'd be an hour and a half later when Kakashi somewhat close his book and look up and go, well, you stay here, I'll be back in 30 seconds or so. Naruto would just somewhat look up at Kakashi, would say, sure sensei, whatever, and would go back to looking up at the sky, and he'd somewhat just switch up and go, it's really like Shikaku, and I think his brat Shikamaru likes to cloud watch. Are they friends? They must be. Oh well, anyway. He'd then send him down to the class as he would then knock on the door. And, well, he wouldn't knock on the door, he'd open it as he would pop his head through and go, yo. As Sakura did, well, he'd go, yo, you two teams having? Sasuke would just glower at him and Sakura would go, Sensei, you're late. And he'd just somewhat wince a bit as he would then go, well, my first impressions of you is that you two are lazy. Well then, meet me on the roof. As he would then disappear in a cloud of smoke. Sasuke would immediately run out, Sakura a second behind him, yelling at him with, Sasuke can wait for me. Yeah. 5 or so minutes later, Sasuke would be on the roof, and shortly a second or two behind Sakura. And so they would walk over and sit down, and he would then somewhat point out Pinky and go, well, introduce yourself. Sakura would go, how? Kakashi would somewhat decide and go, well, your likes, your dislikes, your goals, hobbies, dream for the future. Yeah, no, your stuff that describes you. So you just go, so go Pinky. Well, why don't you go first so we know how to do it? But well, all three of them would somewhat just switch up and think, and she's the smartest Kunai, isn't she? Yeah. Kakashi would somewhat silent go, fine, well, my name is Hatake Kakashi, my likes are none of your business. My hobbies? Reading, I guess. My dislikes? None of your business. My dream for the future? Don't really have one. So, well, Sasuke, Sakura and Naruto, well, or at least Sasuke and Sakura would somewhat just switch up. Naruto on the other hand would somewhat have somewhat of a smile, though she'd still somewhat be looking up to the sky, and she'd think, this reminds me of the old times. Though, and yeah. And here you go now, Pinky, your turn. Sakura would somewhat just glower at him and go, Sakura Haruno. My likes are stares at Sasuke and goes, my hobby is stare at Sasuke. My dream for future skrills and screams. Well, not exactly scream. I don't know. Giggles, I guess. Your dislikes. No, well, what's her name? Ino now and Naruto. Hizen would not Hizen, Kakashi would somewhat just switch up and go, well, Redhead, your turn. Naruto would lift herself up and just go, well, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. Likes are training foxes and I guess my dislikes are perverts, rapists, people who can't see the difference between a kunai and its scroll, and not sure what else. Guess my dream is just to become a Hokage, and my goal is to bring peace to the ninja world. Or vice versa, you could also say. Kakashi would somewhat just nod and somewhat smile as he would then go, well, you duck, but you're next. Sasuke would somewhat just glare and would go, I have few likes and many dislikes. What I have isn't a dream, as I will make it a reality, and that is to resurrect my clan and kill a certain someone. And Kakashi would just go, we just somewhat think, we'd obviously think of Itachi. You'd go, well, I guess it's all good, you've got your own, you're all unique. As you then continue to explain, well, you'd somewhat chuckle a bit darkly, and Sakura would ask why, and he would then explain that out of all the Genin that passed, only 66% of them will pass the true Genin team or become true Genins. And that, in other words, out of all of them that passed, only 3 teams of Genin would be formed, or at the very least 3 teams. Well, Naruto wouldn't really be that surprised, remembering from her past life about that. And well, yeah, though she'd somewhat act surprised though. And yeah, and well, after that you'd go, well then, meet me tomorrow at training ground 7 at 7 a.m. Oh, and don't eat breakfast, you might puke. And with that, he would then sunshine away. Sasuke would get up, and Sakura would somewhat look at him and go, where are you going, Sasuke-kun? Where else? To train. As he would then walk off. Sakura would then get up and go, wait for me, Sasuke-kun. Naruto would somewhat just sigh and would somewhat look up to the sky and would think, Kuma, I wish I could speak to you right now. Though, in all honesty, Sasuke was somewhat, well, he was somewhat happy that whilst he was not the most excited person to be on a gaming team with Harmon, well, with his apparently number one fangirl, but he was also somewhat happy that he at least, well, he was at least interested in Naruto, a red-headed female that very much seems to be more Kunoichi than fangirl, or zero fangirl at all. And was he interested in her? Well, yeah. Was she interested in him? No. The one thing in her heart was the nine-tailed fox, Kuruma. As, well, of course, she somewhat just silent girl I really wish I could speak to right now, Kuruma. Though, I guess the time will come. I just have to wait 2 more months and I'll finally be able to speak to you, talk to you, stand in front of the damned cage. And she would then get up and would then somewhat disappear in a somewhat swirl of foxes and would reappear at her apartment, at the front door of her apartment, and would open it, never really locking it, and would shut it, then lock it. She'd somewhat just go in and that would be the end of that day. Next day would roll around. Well, Sasuke had gotten up around 6 and they'd left at, they'd done a bit of light training at up between 6:30, and then he headed out to training ground 7, listening to what Kakashi had said and not eating any breakfast. Haruna had woken up at 6:30, gotten dressed and that, and well, she'd also then left afterwards, Sasuke had arrived at training ground 7 with 25 minutes to spare. Sakura had arrived 5 minutes or so later, 5 to 10 minutes later, meaning Naruto only had 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to arrive. And 7 o'clock would roll by with neither Naruto nor Sensei coming at 8 o'clock at Naruto's apartment. She'd wake up she'd just somewhat wake up and she'd look over at her clock and would see that it's 8 o'clock. She'd somewhat yawn, would stretch and would get up and then walk over to her kitchen and walk out of her bedroom, down the short hallway into the kitchen, and would remember that twice Kakashi said that he didn't suggest to eat, and that obviously Kakashi gave them gave them pretty much 3 hours to do whatever they liked. He told them to be there at 7, but to be at training grounds 7 at 7. But he never came at 7, he came at 10. So she'd somewhat decided that, she'd just let her body naturally wake up, which was tuned to 8. Around 8, sometimes 8:30, but 99%, around good 80% of the time it was 8 o'clock she woke up at. Anyway, she'd cook herself a small breakfast to last up until 12 o'clock. She'd then go to eat ramen, of course. Though that if they actually depending on how long the task would be set for. Anyway, after she'd have breakfast, she'd then head to the bathroom, would go to the toilet and brush her teeth, then head off into her bedroom and would then get dressed. After putting on her Kanoichi outfit, she then, looked at the time, saw it was going on 8:30 and would somewhat decide that she should go, being, an hour and a half late. Kakashi would probably arrive. Kakashi might even be there and was just somewhat watching them to see if they would do anything. And so she'd then somewhat sensing. She'd put on her shoes, walk out of her apartment, shut the door, and then sensing over to Training Ground 7. Though she'd somewhat decided to do the normal leaf sensing, or Konoha's leaf sensing, as Sakura is almost ready to yell. Though once the person was revealed, Sakura just blinked and go, "What? You're Naruto Baka, you're late." Naruto would somewhat just put her finger in her ear and wiggle it about and go, "How am I late, Sakura, if Sensei's not here? If Sensei's not here, then how am I late?" Sakura would just go, and if you remember, yesterday he was 3 hours late. And if he's 3 hours late, then what in the world gave any use the idea that he wouldn't be 3 hours late again? They'd somewhat just stare at her a bit dumbfoundedly, though Sasuke would somewhat, she could feel someone checking her out, and she would, quite obviously know it would be Sasuke. Sakura really didn't care, considering her, or at least her and Naruto's best size were practically the same size, so anyway, Naruto would somewhat then just somewhat smirk and would look at Sasuke and go, "Like what you see?" Sasuke would blush and turn around, and Sakura would somewhat just glare at her and go, "Why you? Sasuke's mine." Naruto back and why'd I even want the Ino? The duck butt. Sakura, seriously, why'd I even want him? I've already got my heart set on someone. And anyway, she'd somewhat just go, "See ya," and disappear in a cloud of smoke. As though, when she'd somewhat arrived, she somewhat arrived at the entrance to Training Ground 7, where neither Sasuke or Sakura were looking at, and so she'd decided to make a clone, had it do the leaf sensing towards them, so that they'd think it'd be their sensei, and she'd somewhat just started to run around the training ground, kind of inadvertently discovering where their sensei was. And she just somewhat stopped and spoke to him for half an hour before she just left him alone and went off to run around the training ground, and also learning the training ground, or at least where they'd possibly be mainly sparring, fighting, whatever. An hour would go by, and Kakashi would finally sunshine in right into the middle where Sasuke and Sakura were. Of course, Kakashi would know Naruto was around and could somewhat feel Naruto's chakra signature, her chakra signature coming, so he'd only wait another minute she'd then arrive. As he'd go, well, now that you're all here, he'd then somewhat pull out 2 bells and he'd go, now then, for today's test, you must get these 2 bells off of me. You must get 1 bell each. But, well, to pass, you must get 1 of these bells. So I could go, but since there's only 2 bells, yeah, and so only 2 of you will pass. He would say, you could see Sasuke and Sakura would somewhat buy that. He would then look over to Naruto, and written all over her face was, "You're very bad at lying, Sensei." But then again, I guess those 2 must be idiots to not realise what the hidden meaning was. Kakashi would somewhat blink again and and well, yeah. And then somewhat tend to see kind of Kusuna overlapped her and then blink again, blink once again, and would somewhat shake his head and would go, well, anyway, and also come with me with the intent to kill, but Sensei, we might hurt you or even, well, Sasuke would say, Sakura, he's a Jonin. We're miles too weak to even hurt him. Naruto would somewhat just think, well, maybe use. I can definitely surprise him, that's for sure. And though he's definitely got more skill than I do, and still not exactly. Well, yeah. Though the kind of thing would go and would somewhat be like obviously in canon, though Naruto wouldn't somewhat just stay there. She would well go and hide and try and tell Sakura first. Though Sakura had decided that she wouldn't listen to Naruto. She tried also telling Sasuke, but Sasuke just somewhat said, yeah, right, dope, and proceeded to ignore her. She'd somewhat decided and said, fine, your loss, and disappeared in a puff of smoke. She'd somewhat decide and, just somewhat decide to stay hidden. Yeah, Kakashi could very much see and even feel 2 chakra signatures, but not the 3rd one. The 3rd one was, of course, Naruto's. Though, obviously, Naruto was very good at hiding. As, well, of course, when you can prank the entire village or paint the Hokage monument in broad daylight and only once it's finished be discovered, that took a heck of a lot of skill, and it seemed like nobody really was realizing just how much skill she showed just by doing stuff like that. Heck, even Husen didn't seem to realize just how much skill she really had. Yeah, though eventually he'd somewhat sign would go off and think, well, I guess, she would then somewhat head to Sakura first and would place under a genjutsu, thinking, it's low enough that Sakura should be able to easily detect and dispel it. Yet she fell for it and passed out, and Kakashi would somewhat just sigh and would then somewhat spar against Sasuke, or fight, I guess. Sasuke was fighting whilst Kakashi was somewhat obviously going easy on him. Of course he would hold back, though he was somewhat only blocking and not even punching back. Yeah, that would go, that part would go obviously the same. Kakashi would So I ended up doing the headhunter jutsu and bound Sasuke up to his head. And with that, he'd somewhat make his way back into the thing. He wasn't going to try and look for Naruto. If he can't censor her, then there's almost 0 point in trying, as well, yeah, she could move faster than than Anbu. So there's almost 0 point in trying to. Should always stay out of detection and out of our eyesight. Or at least that's what he thought, before she just somewhat walked in and said, "Hi Sensei, how's your spar against Sasuke?" Kakashi somewhat just blinked and said, "You do know you're meant to be hiding, right?" "Well, no, I'm pretty sure I'm meant to be with, say, Sasuke and Sakura cooking up a plan to get the bells. But here, they don't work in it as a team with me, so, well, I guess it's my turn. You've, well, I guess, knocked out Sakura with a genjutsu. You, well, somewhat just had a very easy spar against Sasuke." And Kakashi just cracked an eyebrow and said, You was there?" "Hi, though I'm pretty surprised you never managed to see me, though. I guess you wouldn't be able to if you never used your Sharingan." He'd somewhat blink. "You, of course I would know. You're the copycat nin of 1,000 jutsu, or also known as Kakashi of the Sharingan. Pretty obvious when you say it that way, isn't it?" Kakashi would somewhat decide, and he'd somewhat nod, and she'd go, "Well, and also, how do you know you're not under genjutsu right now? And that me, Sasuke, and Sakura could have already have gotten the bells." Kakashi would somewhat blink and would somewhat curse. She's right, and would put his hand up for release, though nothing would happen, and he'd go, "Wait, you whack." As she only stalled for, well, a small bit of time, as she had a clone underground doing the headhunter. Yeah, though instead of yanking the target downwards into the dirt, she would instead jump out at high speed and would whack him up with a chakra infused punch, sending them skyrocketing into the, well, sky. Yeah. The clone, obviously, once doing that, would then dispel, and she'd then infuse chakra into her muscles before launching off up into the sky as Mel should quickly arrive. Well, she'd almost shoot past Kakashi. Well, yeah. And though gravity would then start working on both of them and would pull them both back down. Though Naruto would somewhat used a bit of wind manipulation to force her acceleration to go down, so that she could very much say have an aerial fight with Kakashi as they fall. And yeah, and so they somewhat would be fighting, punching a lot, and that in just mid-air as they fell. So although Kakashi was very much surprised at just how high a single punch had launched them, he'd blanked out for at least a good half a second to a second as the sheer G-forces and the force of that. He was surprised she hadn't snapped his neck or that, though he presumed that she would have otherwise done something else. Yeah, then somewhat continued to fight, though as they somewhat got closer and closer, Kakashi somewhat realised he wasn't holding back as much as he did with, well, Sasuke, heck. Sasuke, he was holding back 90% of his strength. With though Naruto, he was holding back something like 50 to 40%, and that number was still dwindling, was still going down. And someone realised that while she seemed very weak, she was very much just like her mum, very strong and somewhat similar to Tsunade in strength. Heck, maybe even stronger. And yeah, Kakashi somewhat knew he'd have to prepare for a very hard landing, and as such had started channeling chakra to his feet. She'd somewhat noticed this, be able to sense it, and we'd realised that they were coming in for a very hard landing. She at least knew she could launch off at high speed, but she never exactly perfected the landing as well. Yeah, so instead, and remembering that she was more Uzumaki in this timeline, than channel rather than somewhat channeled her. Married somewhat thought, well, hope the change can stop me, and they'd flung and then somewhat materialised for change and then launched them outwards. And as they would somewhat impact the ground and then somewhat start going rigid up until a certain point where they would somewhat meet, and then obviously they would continue to get longer. She would then start rapidly slowing down. Well, slowing down at a safe and fast enough rate for a Kunoichi/ninja. Kakashi was gobsmacked at this and had somewhat, at the last minute, remembered ground falling fast, and then managed to somewhat just barely land on his feet, though there was a massive crater, and yeah, he was in pain, though the bell would go off. Yeah, he clearly had broken probably a couple of bones in his legs. Though Sasuke and Sakura would both come out, Kakashi would somewhat look up at Naruto, and Naruto would go and make a clone to help Kakashi. Would do somewhat carry Kakashi upwards. Though Kakashi would somewhat look at them disappointed and go, well, you fail, though I'll give you a second chance. And with somewhat, Sakura would end up being tied up. Kakashi would then say he was somewhat going to leave, though he'd be back in approximately half an hour or so. So he'd sentient away, or more. He'd sentient away, though of course he'd only sentient into the trees. And he'd somewhat watched very painfully as his legs killed, as he knew he'd most definitely broken his ankles and possibly some other bones, but he wasn't 100% sure. Though, what he'd of course witnessed was that Sasuke would then start feeding Sakura, and Naruto would then start feeding Sakura as well. He'd come out, he'd then somewhat sentient out and go use. Though Naruto would somewhat obviously spout that they were a team and that they would take the punishment as a team. And Kakashi would then go well as Sasuke would go HND dopes right. Sakura would go, yeah, we're a team. Kakashi would somewhat just smile and go, use pass. They'd all go, what? As he'd go, well, use pass. They'd all somewhat sigh and somewhat collapse. Kakashi would somewhat smile and go, well, not sure if I can, well, not sure if we'll have a mission for a while, but, well, yeah, see yas. As he would then disappear in a puff of smoke. Well, in a leaf sunshine, as he'd somewhat sunshine himself to the front of the hospital, as he'd somewhat do a handstand and walk himself in, doing that. The guy in the front desk would somewhat sweat drop and go, Hatake-san, what do you think you're doing? Say leg's broken and needs healing, please. The person on the front desk would somewhat just sweat drop. Though she'd then somewhat leave and would come back with a wheelchair and would plop Kakashi in before taking him to a medic, and then a while later they'd be healed, but the medic would tell Kakashi to, well, not exactly do any ninja stuff, so pretty much he can't say channel any chakra into his legs, or like say jump from roof to roof, tree from tree, or that for at least a week or so. Kakashi would somewhat just nod and, well, yeah, Houston would somewhat get impatient and had decided to send out Cat. And Cat had checked all the somewhat places and had then somewhat knew there may be one other person that may know. And that was pretty much, well, he then somewhat knocked on a door. The person would open, and the person would then go, huh? Cat-chan? Cat-chan? How may I help you? Naruto-chan, have you seen the sensei at all? Well, besides from, the thing that we just say passed, half an hour ago, I think he should be at the hospital. Why at the hospital? May have launched him into the air and had an aerial battle for a bit of time, and he may have broken some bones in his legs or that. Carried someone just saying, well, I see. Well, have a good day, Naruto-chan, bye, Cat-chan. This carried then sunshine away to the hospital. And well, yes, that's where I'm going to be ending it, guys. So if you do want to see part 4, tell me in the comments down below. And sorry for somewhat a lot of the name mixes up, as I completely forgot that I was meant to record today, though luckily I did somewhat remember, as I was wondering why the night was somewhat dragging, and then it somewhat hit me that I was meant to record, so yes, whoops. Anyway, as I said, guys, hope you've enjoyed this, and hope you want a part 4. If you do, tell me in the comments down below. And yeah, guys, hope you have a good day or night, depending on wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. And yes, stay safe and good. Bye.